You are the type of person who continues to be no contact with your dying family member, even after I, as the hospice nurse, call you and say that that is their final dying wish to talk to you.
She is going to have us in the first half, but hold on. This is Nurse Hadley. She's an end-of-life hospice nurse on TikTok who shares a lot of her experiences, some of which have to do with estranged parents.
Then I think that's totally fine. I don't judge you, and I don't think you owe people who abused you peace.
I don't know what it's going to be like to receive that call, or even if I'm going to get it. A call letting me know that my mother is at the end of her life, then asking me if I'm willing to speak with her. If I was in that situation now, and I answered the phone, I think I would very confidently be able to say no. I think I would say, listen, hope she's good. I don't have anything to say to her, and I would let it go from there. Hadley says something here that she says a lot in her videos, and it's, I don't think you owe people who abused you peace. And for people like me, who may one day be in this situation, that has to be very freeing to hear from the nurse taking care of your parents. You do not owe the people who abused you peace. And I'm afraid that at the end of this, it's not peace. It's not your parents calling you to apologize or to say, hey, even though I don't think I'm wrong, I don't want to die having left our relationship like this. I think I'm starting this rant too early, and I think we'll get into that in her second video. So
I don't mind being the bad guy and telling them no. I'll even update you when they pass if you ask me to, and be your shoulder to cry on. And if all you feel is relief, that's totally normal too, and you're not a bad person.
she seems like the kind of nurse we all wish we had. She seems very sweet and compassionate. She's smart. She has more than enough videos on her channel talking about how she didn't really enjoy working in a hospital, and so she went into hospice care. And she seems to really care about what it is that she does and the people that she does it for. I'm bringing this video up for a couple of reasons. I just saw the video from Scrub Hacks talking about having emotionally immature parents and going through something similar where she is just not being left alone. And this now deleted video from Doormat Mom's daughter talking about how Doormat Mom very, very recently just showed up at her house without warning, without permission. Doormat Mom just showed up at her daughter's house. And in posting that video, so many estranged parents going, what else are we supposed to do, flooded her comments that she had to delete the video. Like, although these parents are outnumbered, there's still too many of them. Fighting these parents is what I imagine fighting Millie Nance from Rick and Morty would be like. No matter what you do, where you hit them, there's always more of them ready to take each other's old spot. Anyway, something Hadley is asked to do a lot by these estranged parents who are at the end of their life is to call their children, to say, hey, I'm dying, please come see me. And I cannot imagine that ever really goes well. The parents are never going to have to think about this, but in receiving that call, there's no way for it to be positive. There's no way to just not feel bad. Even if you're so over it and so far removed and all you want to do is say, not my business, there is no way to not feel bad about not being there for your parents dying regardless of who they are. And some of them are pretty bad. It is not the responsibility of me, you, any of us to take care of the people who abused us, but that doesn't mean we don't feel bad about it. I'm going to be so real. I'm going to use my dad as an example. If my dad out of nowhere had some hospice nurse call me, hey, your dad's dying, I would be like, put him on the phone. Here's the thing. If I get to hit you back in the exact same way that you hit me every time as a child, I will show up. I'm 28. Today's my birthday, by the way. Hello. Which means he's 47. I don't think me physically throwing him across a room in the same way that he did me would end well for him. I think in his old age, he probably is not getting back up. So, like, probably a little unfair, but what else am I supposed to do? I don't hold any resentment for these people. I don't care. The last time I talked to my dad, I was probably 12 over the phone. And I don't think I had a conversation with him past the age of 10 in those last 2 or 3 years where he wasn't trying to get me to do drugs or asking me for money. Like, I had money as a 12-year-old. I don't have money now, dude. So call me on your deathbed. That's great. What do you have to say to me? Nothing, right? They don't want to say anything to you. They just want you to maybe apologize. Oh, I don't want to breathe my last breath having lived our life separately. You don't think maybe it's time for you to apologize before I die? And I'm getting ahead of myself because I've seen the next video, but you know what? Let's just go into it together.
This is the least favorite part of my job. My patient is asking me to call his son, who he's not spoken to in 10 years, and tell him to come visit him before he dies.
They have not spoken in 10 years. The patient is dying and is saying, hey, can you call my son? As a nurse in this situation, yeah, I get it. Let me make that call.
Okay. So he said no, he's not going to come. I said that I respect that decision. Asked if he wants me to notify him whenever his dad does die.
So he said no. And as the nurse, great job, just respecting the decision. Her next step is to ask, do you want to know when your parent does pass?
He said yes. I have to go in here now and tell the patient that. Okay, I told my patient. Didn't go well. I told him that his son said that he doesn't want to come. The patient asked if I told him that he was dying. I said I did. He said you should.
The patient wants to know if I tried guilt tripping him.
The patient asked if I told him that he was dying. I said I did. He said you should have told him that he had to come. I said I'm not going to do that. I offered if my patient wants to write his son a letter that I will get it to him, but I said I can't tell you that he'll open it. My patient told me to get out.
There are a couple of things there that I want to unpack. You should have told him that I am dying and he had to come. Is that what your entire relationship has been like your whole life? No, you have to because I'm your father. I'm afraid to feel sympathy for people who have pushed their children so far out of their lives that their kids cannot come to see them before they die. I understand that I'm a little biased, and so are most of you watching this, but we have not been given a single example of any of these online parents who have not been the reason for it. Every single one of them has been the reason their kid's been pushed away, and they go online and make it worse. If this person is at the end of their life and they haven't talked to their son in 10 years, then their son was probably an adult when they made this decision, full-grown adult who probably had to make a very hard and right decision for themselves, and now does not want to show up for their father when their father is dying. And that's fine. Hadley gives him the option to write his son a letter, and he tells him to get out. We can read this as, oh, he's angry that his son isn't coming, it's a reaction, get out. Or he doesn't want to write his son a letter because he doesn't think he has anything to say to his son. He expects his son to come and to say, oh man, I'm sorry. I should have been a better son. I should have been raised better. I should have just loved and appreciated every time you said, I'm feeding it, aren't I? I'm housing it, aren't I? I'm making it watch Fox News with me, aren't I? If I raised Toast to dislike me, if for some reason every time I raised a hand at her she flinched, if I only fed her, clothed her, refused to spend any time with her, didn't walk her, didn't get her toys, didn't bathe her, didn't take care of her, didn't sleep next to her, and she didn't like me, that would be my fault. I understand that raising kids is hard, and you're not going to be given a playbook. There's no weak side jet sweep you run whenever you need a few yards. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to feed something you're going to grow up not to love, and you're going to blame it for not being lovable. When I refer to kids as it, I'm so separated from them. I don't want children. I very selfishly do not want to take care of anyone else in a way that doesn't make me feel good. I like taking care of my partner because she and I get to spend that time together. I don't want to take care of anything that's going to puke, cry, and force me to buy baby food that I then can't eat. You're telling me I'm supposed to stock my pantry with the Gerber applesauce and not eat it? No, that's stupid. I guess I just don't understand wearing titles like a badge. Like, oh, I'm a parent, so I must have been a good person and a good parent. You know how many people I've met that tell me they're Mexican and don't speak Spanish?
I love this patient so much, but it's just not my place to guilt trip someone into coming. I have no idea what this person was like the first 80 years of their life before I met them. As much as it sucks to get yelled at in that way.
So yeah, even she called it guilt tripping. And I'm assuming that if you're 80 and you're not Theo Vaughn's dad, you probably have a child who's a full-grown adult.
As much as it sucks to get yelled at in that way, hopefully I did the right thing.
Yeah, if you're going to yell at your nurse for doing exactly what you asked her to do, just because the result was not the one you wanted, I don't trust that you were a good parent. Like, you can't be kind to the person who's taking care of you in your final moments, and you expect us to believe that maybe you were nice to your kid for their entire life. Hadley does a lot more than just estranged parent, hospice, TikToks. She talks a lot about end-of-life care and just generally being a nurse. She also is dating Bradley, I think his name is, the guy who was asked by an older woman to get her pregnant so that she could have a kid, but not raise it with her. And then she was like, psych, I want you to be in the kid's life. And it was like a whole saga. I am not getting into that, but that's a thing. She also does a lot of skits, if that's your thing. She seems cool, and I will link her TikTok in the description below. I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to drown myself too much into this today. It's just something that has been coming up on my FYP repeatedly, but I'm going to call it there. If you have not said happy birthday to me, that's fine. I don't care. I'm old. I'm 28 now. I'm dying. And I'm going to remind you of the quote that she said. You do not owe anyone who abused you peace. You're your own person with your own wants and your own needs, your own people who love you. And I'm sorry if that wasn't your parents, but it doesn't have to be. I hope the people that you have brought into your life have done nothing but make it better. Sometimes in my comments, I'll get people who are like, this generation is too soft. They don't understand that they need to take care of their parents. But you can't call me soft and then complain about the consequences of your own actions in the same sentence. It sucks to see so many people that just couldn't figure out that the people around them were people too. In the 80, 70, 60, 50, 200 years they lived, like they're all vampires. They're at the very least energy vampires. Just a bunch of little Colin Robinses running around. Okay, I'm going to call it there. I've been ranting for so long, I don't think I've made a point in like 22 minutes. Thank you for spending time with me. This is my favorite thing to do. You're my favorite people to do it with. I'm going to go spend the rest of my day with Toast. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see me tweet every like 4 weeks. Join the Discord if you want to just yap in there. Give this video a thumbs down if you think Toast deserves estranged parents. And I'm going to go put The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on my Hulu watch later. Alright, get out of here before I make you listen to all 3 Claro albums with me. Go.